Hey, good afternoon. Wabasha Kiniw Vista Kubrakovich. Thank you for checking us up on MTS Live with Ryan Sutherland, the host, Kubrakovich, of course. And I got guest Ryan Sutherland with us today to talk about the Treasury, of course, under the legislative bundle. I just wanted to just kind of highlight a bit of what's happening in our territory. Unbelievable news, what's happening. Of course, our regional office in Brandon opened up a number of weeks ago, and we have our keepers and helpers there today and yesterday. So they're occupying the office now, Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 4:30. Somebody's going to be there. So they're going to help the Four Nations in their regional area, of course, and they look forward to helping, engaging, getting into your nation. Everyone should know what's happening. Scott Linksleg is in charge of our internal, external. He works hard internally to let everyone know what's going on with our four bundles, and he connects and he lets you know what's going on. He knows everything. He knows what's going on with our government. He also hands out Democracy Trail News. Scotty is a really excellent guy. He's in your nation right now, in fact, checking you out with Treaty Days, and of course, there's lots of activities going on. He blogs as well. He puts some amazing blogs on. He's one of our better bloggers of our government and very consistent where he blogs every week. There's unbelievable celebrations, of course, in Kiniw, Evan Flow. We've had time there. Penamotang yesterday, of course. The recreation center is up, going to put the shovel in the ground. Excellent council, very youth-minded, very member-minded, very oriented on what's happening. But we got Ryan Sutherland with us today. He's going to talk about Treasury, of course, and we got some exciting work with Treasury, and it's absolutely stunning on what's happening right now, and it's amazing what's happening. So with that, I wanted to kind of just show you a quick view of the structure and give you a minute here to look at the structure and analyze it. The legislative bundle, Earth Lodge bundle, the peacemaking bundle, and the executive bundle all come out from the Nakadawiwin. Gives you a chance to see what's going on. Check it out for a few seconds here. Alrighty, there you go. The structure, of course, I'll quickly go through it again. The legislative bundle gives you full operational mandates through our councils, and we have exciting councils right now. We have the Youth Council, the Women's Council, the Anishinaabe Kwe Council, of course. We have the Ogama Kwe, the Grandmother Council. We have the Men's Council, Knowledge Council, and the Governing Council, all functioning and operating within our structure. We have all the councils, and of course, we have a really huge council next week, which is the Grand Council. You want to be involved with the government, you have a chance. Next week, of course, is the Grand Council, 23rd, 24th. Laws are being presented. You can't say you weren't involved. That is where you get involved. That is where you're part of the process. Your government is running the territory now. Canada, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, out. The First Nations and Treaty 2 territory government, the Anishinaabe in government, is running and operating as it was the day before treaty. With that, Ryan Sutherland. Ryan, you have some exciting tasks, of course. You got lots of work going on with Treasury and financial administration, but you're ready for the Grand Council. Tell us about what's happening.
Yes, the Treasury and Financial Administration law is ready for the Grand Council, and as you said, the legislative bundles consist of the councils. The councils mandate the roles and responsibilities of the government, and they provide guidance on the direction that our government is going. They sponsor the resolutions. So, of course, they sponsored the resolution that gave us the mandate to put the Treasury and Administration law in place, and it's now ready to proceed to the governing. It was passed by the governing council. It's ready to proceed to the Grand Council for full ratification and implementation. And with that, once it's ratified and the legislative bundle then enforces and implements the Treasury and Administration law. With that, it gives us a number of objectives that must take place, that we're then obligated to complete these objectives, such as financial accountability and transparency to the government, to our membership, to our local nations. It puts in place self-determination, so we then self-determine how we manage our assets. That includes the management and jurisdiction of the 21.5 million acres that make up Treaty 2 territory. Also, we will manage the flow through of the infrastructure programs and services that will come from Canada, directly from their treasury to our treasury, and a number of other objectives, such as capacity building in terms of financial administration, lease back of lands. So we would lease back the lands to the townships, the municipalities, the cities, and collect using our toll gate fee system that's built into our Treasury and Administration law, which gives us the jurisdiction and authority to invoice Canada for land rent, resource depletion, resource extraction, and also invoicing for the infrastructure programs and services. And also to manage our unoccupied lands, the lands that are not currently occupied by and are still identified as crown lands in the property registry system. So that's what our financial and administration law consists of, and once it goes through the ratification at the Grand Council, those are the objectives that are now become an obligation of the Treasury and Administration and under the legislative bundle. So yeah, it's exciting. It's definitely going to create a lot of work. It's going to put a lot of responsibilities on our government in terms of managing financial assets and real assets, and but it also gives us puts in place our inherent rights and powers, and gives us puts us back in a position to self-determine our future for our kids and their kids and our 7 generations we talk about. Yeah.
Well, that's amazing, Ryan. There's so much going on in Treasury Administration. You're doing such a great job with the little help and little keeper's helper support that we do have within our government. one of the key factors, of course, is our Grand Council next week, and it's exciting because this Treasury Administration Law, which is the Treasury of Financial Process and Administration in Finances, it has a lot of weight to it now because the Governing Council passed it, of course, in February of 2021, February 11th. But of course, you focused a lot on trying to explain the overview of the law. Right now, you can find it at FNT2T.com online. Tell us a bit about the executive summary, the overview, the knock it away win, the PowerPoint, and the administration law itself. That's going to be available to the people in the package. What do you expect? Any feedback, any questions? The councils have had about 18 to 20 meetings on that. They brought it back to their nation, and a lot of feedback came back in some of the consultation and accommodation engagement sessions that we had. What do you expect next week, Ryan, out of the Grand Council, the members of the territory?
Probably questions around jurisdiction, on the authority and responsibilities. Who's gonna have authority to do what, and what capacities we're operating at in terms of our government, our treasury and administration. So I think those are going to be the big one, and also management of our 21.5 million acres, and how we're working towards taking back the management and jurisdiction of our lands. Are always huge discussions and hot topics in every meeting that we have.
Well, absolutely, Ryan. There's a lot of work on the land back, of course, the leasing of the back lands. Of course, those invoices were given to Canada. They should be respected. Their minister, Mark Miller, was given a copy. They were emailed. They were given to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. And no reason why, if they want to continue to having a treaty with our nation, they should be respecting our governance and our treasury and administration law, especially that, right? So, but good job, Ryan. Any other feedback at this time? You're getting ready for the Grand Council. We're getting the packages out. All the information is online. Members can check it out online right now, FNT2T.com. MTN Live is doing a heck of a job promoting and really getting the word out. Our members are getting the word out, our regional offices. Anything else to add at this time?
We are now preparing statements on the invoices, the unpaid invoices that were submitted to Canada, and we're going to be adding interest to the unpaid amounts, and preparing those statements and submitting them, and resubmitting them to the parties that you have identified. And we're working on full implementation plans, and showing how those funds will be budgeted, and in terms of our circles and our different sectors of the infrastructures, programs, and services. And those implementation plans are being put together now on how that breakdown will be support our government. Yeah, and there's in different sectors, or what the government calls sectors, we call is our circles. So we have a breakdown um, in terms of the invoice we've submitted to Canada, the infrastructure programs and services, and it goes from housing and infrastructure, which is approximately 20% of the budget, 1.32 billion. Sports and recreation, about 10% of the total budget, 661 million. Lifelong learning, our education system, 14% of our total budget, 925.5 million. CFN, 20% of the total, 1.32 billion. Care and protection of the natural world, 10% of our total budget, 661 million. Health and well-being, about 20%, 19% of our total budget, 1.25 billion, and then it goes into we have nation and economic development, which is seems like a small amount, 1%, 66 million, but that's the services that would support all of our various circles, because in real definitions of economic development, every circle is an economic development project. And then we have our each one of our bundles, our legislative bundle, our executive bundle, Earth Lodge bundle, and peacemaking bundle is also 1% each at 66 million. And we also built in a replacement reserve for infrastructure and physical assets to be replaced over time, to put aside 2%, which is 132 million. So that's our breakdown of our infrastructure programs and services invoicing that we did to Canada, and that's the breakdown. And the total is 6.2 billion, approximately. So we are now going to put in a statement of and add interest to that invoice now, unpaid invoices from Canada.
Wow, and that's amazing, Ryan. How can that be done if Canada belittles us and throws us into an act that was forced? The treaty was made, of course, in 1871. The purpose of the treaty was protect the territory and, of course, to open up the settlement and immigration. But how did it go wrong? Like, how did Canada figure that they could force our nations into a pink box, which they called the reserves in 1876, the Indian Act, and they forgot about the goodwill that our Anishinaabe and Inuit people were doing. So how is this arrangement going to reclaim what's rightfully the Anishinaabe and Inuit people for the territory, making sure compensation is being paid for the land taken up? The $27.5 billion, I do believe, Treasury invoice, and the $21.5 billion for the thieving of the territorial resources that are stolen every year. But that's only one. Those are three invoices for only 1 year. You talked about 2021, 22, and then 22, 23. What about all those years from 1871 to 2021 or 2022, where the law wasn't in place yet, but the law is now in place? So it gives us the ability to be invoicing. What are we going to be doing next?
For the past or going forward? The past.
Going forward right now is those invoices. So that's going to a collection. That's going to go to Canada's credit.
International claims.
Okay. Already.
for the invoices going forward into the future. Any unpaid invoices will eventually go into an international claims for unpaid funds that they have a fiduciary duty to pay, and it's not only a one-time payment, as we said, it's an ongoing perpetual fiduciary obligation on the crown, and that's what the treaty put in place is that ongoing perpetual obligation over time. There's no ending to it. So,
wow, exciting times. With that, Ryan, I'd like to thank you for giving us the opportunities to learn again for Treasury Administration. That gives us some great detail. Make sure you get your copy. This is a beautiful copy, the Moccasin Trail News. Make sure you get your copy. It's being hand delivered to your nation. It's in your stores. It's in your should be in your mailboxes any day now. And of course, all the information is online, MTN Live, as well as moccasintrailnews.com. And just amazing. Front and center, Treasury and Administration. With that, Ryan, thank you very much for the 16th of August, of course. And we were very busy in Kiniw Sibing today. You were the firekeeper, as well as JJ was the Scave, had the helper with the SEMA. So that was very exciting. Robert and Mary Mate-Washing, a shout out to them for their great work. Amazing work today. And of course, we'll get you to McLean was hosting us in his nation. And we had a lot of keepers and helpers. We had our Knowledge Council there all around the fire, all around the bundle. And the Earth Lodge did a wonderful job hosting the facilitation as well for us. So make sure you get your copy next week, of course. It's great that everyone's going to be showing up in Kakawishigan, Ebb and Flow, 23rd, 24th, Grand Council. Be there 9 a.m. See you on Tuesday. With that, Ryan Sutherland, Bo Kubrakovich, Ekosani, Miigwech, Nanaskamin, and thank you very much for today's show. Right on.